Now, a study of reactions to the professor's killing shows signs of fear and concerns by many that such cases are becoming too many in a country regarded as a very peaceful one. I've been joined by security analyst Adam Bonaa. Thank you so much for joining the program, sir. Now, this recent incident brings to mind similar ones in the past and recent ones we've recorded. So we are bringing back some of those cases. First, let's look at pending or unresolved murders. These are suspected murder cases that are, some of them in court, and some of them we haven't received an update from the police in a while. So the first is Maxwell Atakra. He's, as at the time of his death, was head of Mad Time Entertainment and former manager of hip life artist Kwakesi. He was found dead at his Manette Gardens residence in March 2014. Now, the motivation for the killing is unknown, but the police say they are still investigating the matter. J.B. Dankwedu, he was MP for Ebuakwa North. He was stabbed to death on the 9th of February 2016 at his Shiashi residence in Accra. The accused has been remanded in prison custody for 4 years now, and the case is still in court. Josephine Asante, Marketing and Public Affairs Manager of the Ghana Port and Harbour Authority, she was in charge of the Tema Port. She was stabbed to death at her residence at Community 25 in Tema on January 14, 2019. Now, let's come to recent killings. We'll be bringing you some information on recent killings reported and also get some analysis to this when Adam Bonaa joins us. So let's bring you the recent killings. Edward Korte Papafio, a 64-year-old retired biochemist, was said to have been killed by 3 traditional priests on the 15th of January 2020 at Adeso. The 3 traditional priests have been charged with conspiracy to commit a crime. Then we have Maxwell Atakra, a 44-year-old pastor with the Jehovah Nisi Church at Ejiso. He was murdered at his residence in Santasi, Enyinem New Site, on August 12, 2020 at about 2 a.m. Then there's Akwesi Banahene, a timber contractor who was shot dead by unknown assailants at his residence at Mim in the Sunafo North municipality of the Ahafo region on Friday, August 21, 2020. Augustina Tay, alias Adjoa Kelempe, was a resident of Desuenim, a suburb of Agona Swedro. Now, she was last seen on the 27th of August 2020, and we understand she was found later lying in a pool of blood in a bush with several machete wounds. And this one that was very disturbing and breaks a lot of hearts. Nyamnyo Nyate, a 10-year-old girl, she was found lying in a pool of blood with her throat slit at Ajay Kojo Sun City on the 4th of September 2020. And her father, Frederick Nate, said the CID revealed that Nyamnyo had also been stabbed, and this was after her body was examined. So let me bring in Mr. Bonaa, who joins us via Zoom. Thank you for your time here this morning. So we seem to be seeing a lot of high-profile killings recently. People are scared. Is our security degenerating?
Good morning, and good morning to your viewers. One would be, I wouldn't want to say our security is getting out of hand, but I would say it rather has to do with how, when crimes of this nature are committed, how they are managed, and how those who are suspected to have committed these crimes are usually apprehended, the way these cases are investigated. You gave, a list of people who might have died unnaturally. I mean, every unnatural death would have to be investigated. Every unnatural death would have to be investigated. Or a death that looks unnatural, demand the homicide unit the Ghana police to be involved, so that all these people would have to do what they have to do to, ensure that those who might have committed this crime are not on the loose to go on and kill others. The list of people you mentioned, didn't include Ahmed Swale. Ahmed Swale's case, you are all aware, there hasn't been any credible, suspect who has been arrested. There is also the Issa Dafiamabuse NDC constituency chairman who was shot, at point blank range in his car when he was leaving the constituency to, I think, the regional capital in Wa. There is another guy, I think, in the north, somewhere in Tamale area, the water company guy who was also shot. Yes. The same way, and the list goes on. The list goes on. Unfortunately, we don't seem to have what I call the cold case management aspect, who are supposed to be dealing with these cases. In other jurisdictions, anyone who is learned crime and investigation and crime scene management, usually when even those who have been tasked with the duty to investigate these cases, when they go on retirement, sometimes they are brought back, they are co-opted back, given some time to go on investigating this case till they bring, this aspect to book. But unfortunately, this is not the case in our country. And we are seeing a lot of these cases. I mean, give it this professor's death. Give it plus, minus. After 1 week,
too bad. We seem to be having a challenge with that line there. But Mr. Bonaa is a security analyst, and he was just sharing with us his thoughts on recent killings and unresolved murders. We'll try and work the line and get him to share more before we move on to other issues. Back to Mr. Adam Bonaa, security analyst. Thank you for joining us again. He joins us via Zoom. So you were responding to the question about whether our security is degenerating. Let's move on now. Do we know why most reported murder cases, at least the ones we've been following, and you've mentioned quite a few also, don't seem to get resolved?
Okay, before I take that, let me comment on the bullion van robbery. With the issue of bullion vans robbery, we must also place the blame on the doorstep of the Bank of Ghana. These vehicles we call bullion vans are not supposed to be bullion vans. These are trucks are used for farming. These pickups, and they cover the back and they put in money. Bullion vans are supposed to be high-tech vans that are, ballistic proof. Bullets cannot penetrate through them. If you were to shoot through the tires, or you shot the tires, you can't deflate them. They would run as fast as they can to the nearest point. Even if you are tempted breaking into where the crash is, it usually has what we call the money shredders. And so the moment you attack it, it explodes and shreds the money. We don't have them here. And so the question I have asked the Bank of Ghana is, why can't we get the banks who seems to be charging us so much COTs and charging us so much interest on monies they give to us, to invest money into getting these bullion vans by doing that, they stop all these needless deaths on our roads. And so that is just to probably speak with regards to the bullion van issue. But with regards to the murders we are seeing, I must say that, prevention is one thing that is key in crime fighting. We cannot prevent crime. And if this crime happens and we are not able to manage these crimes, then we have a problem. And so I did give you a list of other individuals who have been killed.
Exactly.
And these cases almost have gone
cold.
These cases have gone dead. Yes. And so mine is that, first of all, what if you look at the CID as an institution, 70% of CID officers are not supposed to be called CID, are not supposed to be called, CID officers because they are not trained. These are people who are, drafted in because of the shortfall and given implement to go into, call it, crime scene to go and gather information. Crime scene management or crime CID officers, to be a CID officer, you have to be somebody who would have to go through a lot of training to be a CID officer. But unfortunately, we don't do that. And it's the reason why we are seeing a lot of these crimes being committed, people dying or people being murdered. And unfortunately, those who visit the crime scenes don't have a clue what it takes to deal with these crimes, what they are looking for at the crime scene. This place where the professor was killed. Are you there?
Yes, we can hear you, Mr. Bonaa.
Where the professor was killed. It is less than, I think this professor is suspected to have been killed less than 72 hours. What business does the family have in that house? The family have no business moving in and out of that property. This is unethical. This is something that shouldn't be happening, and the CID should know better. The CID should know better. That place is a crime scene. And if you know anyone who has knowledge in crime scene management, will tell you that basics, first, the basic things you are taught in crime scene management, recording of the place. So the first respondents to usually a crime scene are not the crime scene management team. The first respondents are either the patrol team or police officers, general police officers who are called in. The first thing they do is you stay at the crime scene, cordon up the place. You cordon up the place. If it involves what you call the use of firearms, if it involves using blades, such as daggers and knives and bottles and the rest, they come in and they come with what is expected. If blood, if the person bled and the person died through bleeding or, in a way, they will come in and get all the evidence. So at least 72 hours, the place should be under siege. It should be a no-go area for anyone. It doesn't matter who you are.
All right.
Spouses who are in the building, everybody should move. But unfortunately, we don't have that here.
Yeah, but Mr. Bonaa, there's a perception that police turn to resolve murder cases involving their own. And people usually give the Kweku Ninja and Tola example. And they say they resolve these cases faster than others. Now, some members of the public also express a lack of confidence in the police. They've simply lost it. Earlier, you spoke about preservation of evidence and how it's done in other jurisdictions, so that even if a case goes cold for 10, 20 years and there's new technology, can be picked up and resolved. Is it that we simply do not have the technology as of now to resolve these matters?
Well, yes, it is a yes and no. We have a bit of it, but we don't have all of it. At least I know the police, DNA lab is there to be able to test, to help them do what they have to do. But by and large, what is expected of our CID, they don't have 90% of it. They don't have 90% of what is expected of our CID. Basic police line, cordon materials, or, have you gone to any of this crime scene where you will see the police rolling, the cordon, pulling it and cordoning the place? They don't have it. And so my point is that if such things as basics as this, they don't have them, then it tells us that the rest of it, at least I have evidence, they don't have most of this material or tools that is needed for them to go to crime scenes and be able to pick information with regards to who are these people who are committing these crimes. Are they serial killers? If you take the case you read, Fenech Pottery, you take JB Dankwa, the list goes on. Do we have serial killers, contract killers on the loose? Amber Swale, the guy who was shot in, you remember that a chief was also killed in Kumasi, the NDC guy. I mean, do we have serial killers on the loose? Because in all these cases, they seem to have arrested somebody.
Yeah.
But as to what happens to these people, we don't know. And so 90%, they don't have what it takes to do what they are doing.
I really appreciate your time this morning. Adam Bonaa is a security analyst, and we've been talking about unresolved murders and recent killings. Obviously, we can cover it all. We just brought you examples, and he did throw in a few more there.